Something happened to DJs after 2020, and I don't think we've really talked about it enough. I'm not talking about the controllers, I'm not talking about sync, I'm not talking about AI, I'm talking about us, the people. Because DJs feel different now. More defensive, more competitive, more angry, more distracted, and weirdly more lonely. I've been doing this for about 30 years. There was a time when being a DJ made you feel like a rock star. Now it just kind of sometimes feels like we're just another face in the crowd, and I'm trying to figure out what happened, honestly. You see, when everything shut down, the walls closed in on all of us at the same time. Nobody had the gig, nobody knew when the gig was coming back, and nobody knew what the hell was going to happen to nightclubs. Wedding DJs, they didn't have weddings. Club DJs didn't have clubs. Touring DJs, well, they weren't touring. And something really interesting happened. We started helping each other. We went online. We live streamed. We talked. We shared music. We taught each other about things. And we checked in on each other. For a little while, the other DJ wasn't our competition. He was just another person sitting at home wondering when we'd get our lives back. And some really strong relationships came out of that. I remember feeling this genuine camaraderie. We were all in the same boat, and the boat was on fire, but at least everybody was helping each other carry the buckets. Then everything opened back up again, and holy crap, did people want to dance. For a little while, it was pretty incredible. People danced like they were making up for 2 lost years. Everybody wanted to celebrate. Everybody felt alive again. And then normal came back. And that's when I noticed something. The camaraderie started disappearing. The competition came back. The jealousy came back. Except this time we had something we didn't really have before. We had a scoreboard. We had followers. We had views, we had likes, we had comments, we had shares, and every DJ suddenly had to play that game. You see, before all this, you could just be a DJ. That's almost impossible now. Now you're supposed to be a DJ, and a content creator, and a videographer, and an editor, and a social media manager, a personality, and a brand, and apparently a fitness influencer. Because now we've all spent years staring at our own faces on cameras. I know I have. You start noticing your hair and your teeth and your weight and your clothes and your skin, and how old you look, how you stand, how you move, everything. And that's new. That's actually an old comparison that I keep thinking about. MTV. Before MTV, you could be an incredible musician and basically look like somebody's uncle who repaired transmissions. And then suddenly the camera mattered, the face mattered, and the entire generation of musicians had to adjust. The difference is MTV brought their own camera crew, but we had to bring our own. Now it's not, can you DJ? It's, can you DJ? Can you look good doing it? Can you film it? Can you edit it? Can you post it? Can you make it go viral? Can you respond to the comments? What else? Can you make tonight look absolutely incredible, even if there's 38 people and 14 of them left before midnight? I've done that too. Of course, I post the best 7 seconds. I'm not pushing the part where everybody went to the bathroom. Nobody does. And that's the part of the problem. We're all watching everybody else's 7 seconds and then comparing it to our entire 4-hour night. Here's something I really, really miss. DJs used to talk about music. Where did we get that? What version is that? Who did that remix? What are you playing right now? What record is working? I honestly cannot remember the last time I walked up to another DJ because I had to know what record they were playing. Some of that is me. I've been doing this forever. I got a giant music collection. I know a lot of the records. Maybe I'm older. Maybe I'm saltier. I own that. But something else happened too. Now we're talking about how many views did you get? How did you make that reel? What camera is that? What AI are you using? How many followers do you have? How do I go viral? We've gone from where'd you find that record to how did that post perform? This is a major cultural shift. And meanwhile, we have access to more music than DJs have ever had in the history of this job. Millions of songs, streaming services, record pools, algorithms, charts, playlists, edits, everything. And somehow, we're all playing the same damn songs. Because nobody knows what is universally popular anymore. Everybody lives inside their phone algorithm. Your TikTok is not my TikTok. Your Spotify is not my Spotify. Your feed isn't my feed. There isn't one radio station everybody hears anymore. This isn't one MTV that everybody watches, so DJs get scared. And when DJs get scared, they play safe. And safe gets really boring. This one really bothers me. Music feels so disposable now. For years, finding a record required something from you. Maybe you bought the vinyl, maybe you drove somewhere, maybe another DJ told you about it. Maybe you dug through a record pool. That song had weight. And now, skip. We have infinite access to music, and somehow music feels a lot less valuable. That's probably why I'm getting interested in vinyl again. And I see younger DJs doing it too. They're digging, they're collecting, they're searching eBay, they're buying records, they're playing them live. And I don't think vinyl itself is the magic. I think it's the friction. You had to choose it. You had to pay for it. You had to carry it. You had to learn it. And you had to commit to it. You know, maybe we're craving commitment again. Think about the DJs you respected 15 or 20 years ago. I respect DJs who knew how to talk, who knew how to blend, who could control a crowd. The ones who knew when to shut up, who could take a bad room and turn it around, and especially DJs who could keep their ego separate from the booth. Today, I'm afraid we're starting to confuse visibility with ability. DJs with 200,000 followers walk into the room and automatically has credibility. Maybe they're incredible, maybe they're not, but the number speaks before they do. And there's another DJ somewhere with 1,200 followers who could absolutely destroy a dance floor. Nobody knows who he is. And that part's strange to me. Because the scoreboard used to be right there. The room. That was the algorithm. People stayed. Good. People danced. Great. The bar made money. Even better. People came back next week. Yeah, really good. You couldn't buy a metric. You couldn't edit it. And this camera thing right here, it's gotten really weird. I love cameras. I make YouTube videos. I'm literally walking around Nashville right now, filming one. So I'm not anti-cameras, but some DJ booths have turned into surveillance studios. 360 cameras, audience cameras, booth cameras, everything is now content. Somebody comes up with a dumb request, content. Somebody says something awkward, content. Somebody's drunk, content. And now we gotta post them online and make them an idiot. I don't like that. The people didn't necessarily agree to become a character in your Instagram account. They just wanted to request a song. And maybe it was a terrible request. Honestly, who cares? We're DJs. Bad requests are part of the job. Some DJs seem to resent requests now. I don't. I think a request is information. Maybe somebody wants to change the energy. Maybe they're trying to impress their friends. Maybe they don't trust me yet. Maybe they're completely wrong. I don't have to play it, but they're telling me something about the room. And that's useful. People are actually nervous about approaching this because they're afraid we're going to be putting them on blast online. What the hell are we doing? We're supposed to be part of the party, not security guards protecting the playlist. This is probably going to be the hardest part for me to admit. I've never felt lonelier as a DJ. It sounds ridiculous. I'm surrounded by people. I'm working in entertainment. I'm supposed to be the life of the party. Got people online. I've got people watching videos. I've got friends all over the country. But the actual job is incredibly cold right now. You finish, somebody says, hey, great set, good job, killed it. And that's nice, but something feels different. Maybe part of this is me. Maybe I've been doing it so long that I'm harder to impress. Maybe younger DJs have incredible communities that I simply cannot see because their friendships aren't happening publicly. They're happening in DMs, they're happening in Discord, they're happening in group chats. And if this is true, that's actually encouraging. Maybe community didn't disappear, maybe it went private. But from where I'm seeing, the public part has gotten colder. And there's something else I'm seeing. Everybody looks scared. I see older DJs with their head on a swivel. Who's coming up? Who's gonna get my residency? Who's younger? Who's cheaper? Who's getting booked? Am I still relevant? And I understand that because economically, this isn't exactly an easy time to be doing this. I mean, look around Nashville. Drinks are not cheap. Parking isn't cheap. Going out isn't cheap. Venues have enormous expenses. Dance floors are disappearing. Gigs are changing. Residencies are disappearing. Everybody's fighting for attention, and social media lets you watch the person who might replace you every single day. And that's not particularly healthy. Then somebody finally gets the residency they've been chasing, and 6 months later, they're emailing from a DJ booth, they're scrolling their phone, they're annoyed at requests, they're bored. The thing they were terrified of losing becomes the thing they're barely paying attention to. I've seen this way too many times. There's another part that we just don't talk about. Nightlife has always had a substance problem. And I'm not going to pretend this started in 2020. It absolutely did not. But personally, I've become much more aware of how openly cocaine is being used around this business. I've seen enough of it that it bothers me. And I'm not interested in preaching at anybody. I'm telling you what I'm seeing around me. People are stressed. People are drinking. People are using drugs. People are exhausted. People are trying to keep up an image. And then they're surprised when everybody seems angry, anxious, and burnt out. You know, maybe some people never really dealt with what happened during those years. I don't know. I'm not qualified to diagnose an entire industry, but I know what I see. And some of these people do not look happy. We didn't leave our old problems behind. Gatekeeping is still here. Sexism is still here. I've watched women enter DJ spaces and immediately get treated differently, questioned differently, talked to differently, judged differently. And some of the same guys, terrified that a younger DJ is going to replace them, turn around and make somebody else feel like they don't belong. That's insecurity. And I think a lot of insecurity is floating around the DJ culture right now. I don't want to become some old guy walking around Nashville telling everybody how great 1998 was. A lot got better. It's easier than ever to meet DJs anywhere in the world. It's easier to teach. It's easier to learn. It's easier to build a community. It's easier to get your name out. A DJ in a tiny town can build an audience without somebody in New York or Los Angeles deciding they're important first. And that's pretty incredible. Technology has eliminated a ton of stupid work. AI can help us organize, automations can give us time back, and we can distribute our own content. We can build businesses. We can reach people outside of ourselves. And, you know, I make a living doing a lot of this stuff, and I'm not throwing technology in the trash, but every tool gives you something. And takes something. I think we're finally starting to see the bill. I'm 51 years old. I've been DJing for 30 years. So maybe some of this is me. Maybe I'm romanticizing something that wasn't nearly as wonderful as I remember. DJs had egos before Instagram. DJs kept music from others before Spotify. DJs did drugs before COVID. DJs stole gigs before TikTok. Yes, there were some assholes in every DJ booth I've ever known, including occasionally the one I was standing in. So I'm not claiming there's some golden age where everybody held hands and traded white label records. That there really wasn't. But I do think something's changed. The job has changed. The incentives have changed. And when you change the incentives, people change with them. I've been thinking about this. What happens if your Instagram follower count evaporates tomorrow? What happens if your TikTok disappeared? What happens if nobody could see your views? What if there were no cameras at the booth? What if you couldn't turn tonight into content? What would you do differently? I think we'd start looking up. I think we'd pay more attention to the people standing in front of us. Maybe we would take more chances. Maybe we'd start talking about music again. Maybe we'd stop treating every other DJ like competition. And maybe we'd stop worrying about whether the 25-year-old DJ has 40,000 more followers than us. Maybe we would remember the people standing in front of us. The ones who are interrupting us because it's our job. They are the job. I don't want to go backward. I don't want DJing to go back to 1995. I don't want to give up on streaming. I don't want to give up on technology. I definitely don't want to carry 8 milk crates up 3 flights of stairs ever again. What I do want us to take is the best thing that we learned from 2020 and bring it forward. Community. When everything disappeared, we'd figure that we needed each other. Then the gigs came back and somehow we forgot about that. Maybe that's the part worth getting back. Not the old equipment, not the old records, not some imaginary golden age. Just the understanding that another DJ succeeding doesn't mean you're disappearing. And that your follower count isn't the crowd. Your camera isn't the crowd. Your comment section isn't the crowd. Right back there, that's the crowd. And maybe we should start DJing for them again.